Hello from Jonathan and me, welcome to the programme.
Now, coming up later, Becky will be doing the honours at one of the region's big Christmas light switch-ons.
Yes, I'm live in Bury St Edmunds, where things are getting very Christmassy indeed. Join me later in the programme for the big switch-on.
Looking forward to that, Becky. Thank you very much. But first, the mystery disappearance of a father of three from Norfolk took a sinister turn today, with police saying they now believe he's been murdered.
30-year-old Derek Tempest from Great Yarmouth was last seen in the town towards the end of last month.
Detectives have been looking at links he had with James Hall and Andrew Ventham, who were found dead at a garage they owned on Queen's Road in the town shortly after Mr Tempest vanished.
Well, they've now uncovered evidence at the garage that suggests Mr Tempest could have been killed. Well, Malcolm Robertson has been following this story for us and is in Great Yarmouth tonight. Malcolm, dramatic developments.
Dramatic, perhaps not unexpected, though. The police are still here tonight, and given the amount of police activity there's been here over the past 3 weeks, I think a lot of people feared that behind the garage, behind those blue gates there, held a very grisly secret. And tonight it seems almost certain that that's where Derek Tempest was probably murdered. For more than a fortnight, the police have been carrying out a major investigation following the disappearance of Derek Tempest. He went missing on October the 28th after visiting a small backstreet garage in Great Yarmouth. 5 days later, the two men who ran it were found dead in a car behind the locked doors of the garage, having apparently committed suicide. Today, it seems the worst fears of Derek Tempest's family and friends have been confirmed.
I'm now confident that Mr Tempest has come to some serious harm or possibly fatal harm whilst he was at those premises, and for that reason today I'm stating that this is now being dealt with as a suspected murder inquiry.
Detectives are still investigating the extent of the relationship over a number of years between Derek Tempest and the men who died, 60-year-old Jim Hall and 49-year-old Andy Ventham. Police also gave details of a van that could have been used to move Mr Tempest. It was owned by Hall and Ventham and was seen leaving Queen's Road at around 7 o'clock on the evening Mr Tempest vanished. They want to hear from anyone who saw it that night or spoke to Hall and Ventham. Mr Tempest's family have been fearing the worst. When we interviewed his partner Sarah and his mother Leslie a fortnight ago, they told me about a visit they'd made to the garage.
I said, have you seen Derek? No, but we got the fly through the door and that. And then he said to Sarah, you his girlfriend? She said, yeah, and I've got 3 kids to him. He went, oh. And we were asking about Derek at 10 o'clock. 2.5 hours later, I've committed suicide.
Inevitably, this incident has led to considerable rumour and speculation in Yarmouth. Police say there's nothing to link this matter with the disappearance of 7-year-old Daniel Entwistle from the town in 2003. He vanished after going out on his bike. The police acknowledge Derek Tempest has almost certainly been killed. Tonight the search goes on to find out how and why he died and where his body might be.
Well, Malcolm, you've been covering this case for Anglia Tonight right from the very beginning, and plenty of rumours surrounding exactly what happened on October the 28th.
There has been a lot of rumour, and I think, Jonathan, that's probably complicated the task facing the police. They still want to know why Derek Tempest came here on that Wednesday afternoon, and one line of inquiry they admit they're following is whether there was an element of blackmail in this.
And Malcolm, let's not forget, this is obviously a very difficult time for Derek Tempest's family. I mean, they still don't know for certain what went on.
They don't know, but I think they probably admit themselves that there is a tragic conclusion to this one. They've asked to be left alone today, and obviously we've followed that. But one can only imagine what it must be like for Leslie Tempest, the mother of Derek Tempest, who 3 years ago, her son Dale Tempest, was killed in a road accident.
OK, Malcolm, for tonight, thank you very much indeed. Well, next, it's being claimed that the leader of Essex County Council, Lord Hanningfield, is facing criminal charges over his expenses as a member of the House of Lords.
The Daily Telegraph reported today that detectives are due to pass a file onto the Conservative peer to the Crown Prosecution Service.
But the Metropolitan Police has described the story as speculation, and Lord Hanningfield insists no complaint has been made to the House of Lords authorities. Lorna Ramsey has more.
It's the story that just won't go away. The Daily Telegraph headlines at this newsagent's in Colchester were again dominated by the expenses scandal. Today, Essex County Council leader and Conservative peer Lord Hanningfield is in the spotlight. The Telegraph says he's among 6 MPs and peers facing criminal charges of fraud over their expenses. The newspaper claims that Lord Hanningfield has been investigated over whether he was returning here to his home in West Hanningfield when he was claiming overnight expenses to stay in London. But Lord Hanningfield said in a statement today that there's nothing new about this story and that no complaint has been made by the House of Lords authorities. Opposition councillors on Essex County Council say they're waiting for the outcome of the Metropolitan Police investigation.
If Lord Hanningfield, he claims that he can justify all his claims, and if he can, and they can be justified, all well and good. If, however, there has been some abuse of the House of Lords expenses and allowance system, then he must take the consequences.
I take the view that people are innocent until proven guilty. Obviously, I'm interested to see the outcome of the investigation, but I wouldn't want to damn anyone at this stage.
The Metropolitan Police say this story is speculation, and their investigation is ongoing. Lorna Ramsey, Anglia News, West Hanningfield.
Now, 4 in every 10 children's intensive care beds in our region's hospitals are being taken up with swine flu cases. The figure is 4 times as high as any other region in the country currently. Nationally, the government is to offer vaccines to all children between 6 months and 5 years old. Overall, there are an estimated 53,000 cases of swine flu in the country. That's down, though, from 64,000 last month.
The children's intensive care facilities are there for those children who get very serious complications of flu, but in the east of England we're seeing almost 40% of their children's intensive care beds taken up with children with the complications of swine flu. That's a very high figure.
Well, next tonight, the amazing operation that involves draining a patient's blood, stopping their heart and chilling their body.
Well, it might sound like something from a futuristic sci-fi film, but it's a procedure that's been perfected by surgeons at Papworth Hospital in Cambridgeshire to treat severe lung clots, and it's changed the lives of 500 people. This from Claire McGlasson.
It's a race, but every step is meticulously slow. A 9-hour operation where every minute is critical.
The patient is cooled down to below 20 degrees Celsius, essentially putting the body's functions into slow motion, and that is to buy the surgeon time to carry out this painstaking operation.
An operation to remove a huge clot that's spread throughout the lungs.
The pulmonary artery is only a couple of millimetres thick, and we have to form a plane in the inner lining, and it's almost like degloving, taking out the fingers from a glove to take out the obstructive material and leave a very thin wall behind.
Papworth is the only hospital that performs this procedure, called a PEA. Without it, patients like this one would have only one option: a transplant. Vanetta Flowerdew is one of the success stories. One of the 500 patients who have had the operation here at Papworth.
It's very big, it's very scary, but there's no way I'm going to say no. It has to be a big positive yes.
So you're really, really glad you came here?
I am happy. You know, it's amazing. You know, sometimes I keep touching myself. I look at my scar and I think, I love this scar. You know, I'm alive.
Back in theatre, and with the clot removed, the team will start to warm the patient's blood back to normal temperature and start her heart beating again. For the first time in a long time, she'll be able to breathe easy. Claire McGlasson, Anglia News, Papworth in Cambridgeshire.
It's truly fascinating. I wonder Vanetta was very pleased with the results.
Well, very happy lady. Lovely to see her.
Well, do stay with us here on Anglia.